Have you ever noticed that the most successful people in the world aren't always the ones who build factories, hire thousands of employees, or invest millions of dollars? Sometimes they're simply the ones who had one simple idea. Think about it. Every product you see in a store started as an idea in someone's mind. A toy, a kitchen tool, even the packaging on your favorite snack, all of it was designed by someone who asked, "What if this could be better?" Now here's the secret that most people don't realize. You don't have to create the product yourself. You don't have to raise money, take big risks, or even deal with customers. Instead, you can license your idea, rent it out to big companies, and let them do all the hard work while you collect royalties. That's exactly what Stephen Key did. For decades, he's licensed ideas to companies like Nestlé, Toys R Us, and Walmart. He never ran a factory. He never worked the sales floor. Yet, from his own home, he built a business that generated passive income year after year. And in this summary of one simple idea, you'll discover how you can do the same. You'll learn how to spot opportunities hiding in everyday life, how to protect your ideas, and how to get companies excited to pay you for your creativity. So, if you've ever dreamed of earning money from your imagination instead of your labor, stay with me. Because by the end of this summary, you'll see how one simple idea can change your entire future. The power of one simple idea. For decades, companies relied mainly on their employees for fresh ideas. Outside inventors were rarely considered. But times have changed. Today, with freelancing and open innovation, businesses are hungry for new concepts, no matter where they come from. They don't care about your resume, your degrees, or your background. If your idea can help them stay competitive, they want to hear it. That's the beauty of licensing. You don't need to start your own company or invest huge amounts of money. Instead, you rent your ideas to companies that already have the resources: factories, distribution, and marketing teams. All you focus on is creativity. The best part? You don't have to quit your job right away. Licensing can start as a side hustle. When your ideas begin generating consistent royalties, you can choose whether to make it your full-time path. But remember, this model only works if you genuinely enjoy the creative process. If it feels like a chore, it may not be the right journey for you. And here's something exciting. Opportunities are everywhere. Companies are constantly searching for the next big thing. Even simple tweaks to existing products can make them stand out in the market. Inspiration can strike anywhere, while cooking in your kitchen, shopping in a supermarket, or even driving down the road. But with so many possible products, where should you focus? The answer is simple. Start with what you love. If you're into sports, look at sports gear. If you're passionate about music, study instruments and accessories. When you explore areas that already excite you, idea generation becomes fun, not work. Over time, you'll discover your niche. Stephen Key, the author of One Simple Idea, learned this lesson firsthand. At first, he studied business in college, but the classes left him uninspired, so he switched majors to art at San Jose State University. He wasn't a master painter or sculptor, but he loved making toys. Armed with a sewing machine, he began crafting stuffed animals and selling them at fairs across California. The joy on children's faces was priceless. But financially, it wasn't enough. Stephen couldn't buy a home, get married, or build the life he wanted. Unsure of his future, he turned to his father for guidance. His father gave him advice that changed everything. Find work that doesn't depend on you being there physically, something scalable that can keep generating income even while you sleep. Soon after, Stephen joined a toy startup called Worlds of Wonder. At age 27, He helped produce a new version of a classic toy, a teddy bear that could talk and blink its eyes. The innovation was a hit, selling more than 5 million bears in just a single year. That experience made Stephen curious. Who had come up with this breakthrough idea? It turned out to be Ken Force. And here's the remarkable part. Ken wasn't involved in manufacturing or marketing. He had simply licensed his idea to the company and collected royalties while they did the work. At that moment, Stephen finally understood what his father had meant. He saw the power of licensing, earning money by renting out ideas. Inspired, he began building his own licensing business, starting with toy concepts. So what exactly is licensing? It's the act of renting out your intellectual property to a company in exchange for royalties. The payoff can be small, maybe $1,000, or massive, even millions, depending on the strength of your idea and the size of the company. And don't forget, as an independent creator, you have an edge. You're also a consumer. You know what works, what doesn't, and what improvements people actually want. Your motivation is high because your success depends on your creativity. Plus, with the internet at your fingertips, you can research, test, and validate ideas faster than ever before. Licensing is no longer reserved for a select few. It's an open door for anyone with imagination and persistence. Find your million-dollar idea. Most people approach invention the wrong way. They fall in love with an idea, build a prototype, file a patent, and only then start looking for customers. The problem? They never asked if anyone actually needed it in the first place. This is why so many perfect products fail. It's not enough to create something you love. You must create something the market wants. So where do you start? With research. Before spending money or energy, study the market carefully. Every successful product solves a problem or fulfills a desire. Your idea should be able to compete, stand out, and offer real value to customers. Here's the good news. Ideas are everywhere. While shopping, cooking, or driving, you'll see products that could be improved with just one clever tweak. Carry a notebook, snap photos, record voice notes, or sketch when inspiration strikes. Treat the world around you like your research lab. Remember, companies don't just want another product. They want something with a wow factor. If your idea is repetitive or boring, it will be ignored. But if it feels fresh, useful, and exciting, companies will pay attention. Stephen Key learned this firsthand. A lifelong basketball fan, he once wandered through a Toys R Us, studying every basketball-themed toy. He noticed kids were drawn to anything featuring Michael Jordan's image. That single observation inspired him to brainstorm new toy concepts tied to the excitement of the sport. This is the heart of market research. Observe trends, pay attention to reactions, and look for opportunities to add value. Visit stores, study blogs and online forums. Follow social media to track what's trending. The more you understand the marketplace, the easier it becomes to position your idea. Once you find an area you're passionate about, dive deep. Who are the main companies? What are the best-selling products? What features, designs, and price ranges dominate the shelves? Now ask yourself, where does my idea fit? Which company would want it? How can I make it affordable yet innovative? And remember, you don't always need to invent from scratch. Many breakthroughs come from small improvements. A product with one new feature, one smarter design, or one updated use can excite companies because it's easier and cheaper to produce. Creativity itself is a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Read books, Explore cafes, watch how people interact with everyday items, and expose yourself to new experiences. Every observation can spark inspiration. A powerful tool is the mix and match game. Take two products and imagine combining them. Before camera phones existed, someone must have asked, "What if we merged a phone with a camera?" The result changed the world. Another technique is the what-if game. Todd Bash used it to create the word lock. He woke up one day wondering, what if a lock used letters instead of numbers? That simple question turned into a successful product because people loved the idea of creating their own word-based codes. The lesson? Your million-dollar idea doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be useful, surprising, and aligned with what people already want. Prove your idea. Here's a mistake countless inventors make. They come up with what feels like a brilliant idea, sketch it out, and then spend months, or even years, building the perfect prototype. They file patents, pour in thousands of dollars, and finally launch their product into the world, only to discover that nobody wants to buy it. This is the harsh truth. An idea isn't successful unless the market proves it. Companies receive thousands of product pitches every year. If you want yours to stand out, you must prove that it works before spending years and a fortune chasing it. So how do you do that? Start by putting your idea under the microscope. Study the market. Ask yourself, is it simple yet innovative? Does it solve a real problem? Can I borrow inspiration from successful ideas in other industries and adapt them? Take the story of Gene Luoma. He saw a problem we all face, clogged drains. The usual solutions were either harmful chemicals, a bent coat hanger, or paying an expensive plumber. None of these were convenient or safe. So Gene invented the Zip It Clean, a simple plastic strip with tiny hooks along the sides. Insert it into the drain, twist, and pull. Instantly, it drags out all the gunk. Cheap, easy, and effective. That tiny idea turned into a huge success because it solved a universal problem better than anything else. That's the kind of thinking you need. To test whether your idea has real potential, ask yourself 4 simple questions. Who are my customers? Why do they need this product? Where would they go to buy it? How much would they be willing to pay? Once you have answers, it's time to test. You could build a small prototype and give it to real users for feedback. Or, if you want to save money, try something smarter. Set up a simple e-commerce page and see if people are willing to pay for the idea, even if it's just a pre-order or mock-up. Real purchases equal real proof. But remember, practicality matters. Companies look for ideas they can manufacture quickly, sell through their existing channels, and price affordably. If your product requires new equipment or has sky-high costs, it's a hard sell. When you validate your idea, when real customers show interest, you gain confidence. And with that confidence, you'll have a powerful story to tell when pitching to companies. Look, I've already proven that people want this. And in licensing, that proof can be the difference between rejection and a royalty check. Prepare to pitch your idea. By now, you know that you don't need to spend thousands of dollars building a fancy prototype to catch a company's attention. What matters most is how you present your idea. Companies are busy. They don't want to read a 10-minute email or sit through a long, complicated presentation. What they care about is simple. What's in it for them? That's why your pitch should be built around 2 essential tools. The first is a one-line benefit statement. Think of it as your elevator pitch, the single sentence that explains why your idea matters. To create it, start by listing every possible benefit of your product. Then, rank them in order of importance. The number one benefit, the one that delivers the most value, becomes your one-line statement. This is what you'd say if you had just 10 seconds in front of a decision maker. The second tool is a sell sheet, which works like a one-page advertisement for your idea. In 60 seconds or less, anyone who sees it should understand the value of your product. Your sell sheet should include your one-line benefit statement, a simple image or sketch, a few short supporting benefits, your contact information, and proof that the idea is yours. Keep it clean, simple, and professional, because this is the document companies will share with their internal teams when evaluating your product. Once you've built these tools, it's time to pitch. But here's a golden rule: never send your sell sheet without permission. Instead, reach out to the company first. Share your one-line benefit statement, and if they express interest, send your sell sheet along with a short cover letter. The cover letter is simply an introduction and a thank you note, and you should always send it as a PDF to keep everything secure and professional. Now you might be wondering, do you have to quit your job to do all this? The answer is no. Licensing can begin as a side hustle, something you pursue in your spare time. Take the story of Jeff and Mark, two friends who shared a passion for music. Both had full-time jobs, families, and very little free time, but whenever they could, during commutes, breaks at work, or weekends, they brainstormed ideas. Together, they came up with an updated version of the Roomba Shaker. They refined their one-line statement, polished their sell sheet, and eventually pitched the idea. The result was a deal with one of the biggest music companies in the world. Their success proves that you don't need to risk everything or quit your job on day one. Focus on one idea at a time. When that idea starts generating royalties, move on to the next. Over time, you'll build a steady stream of passive income, and one day, that stream may be strong enough to give you complete freedom, the ability to leave your job and live life on your own terms. Submit your idea to potential licensees. Are you nervous about pitching your idea to a company? If you are, you're not alone. Almost everyone feels that fear in the beginning. The secret to overcoming it lies in preparation. When you've researched the market, chosen an idea that solves a real problem, tested it, and created a polished sell sheet, you naturally feel more confident. And confidence grows with experience. The more you pitch, the less intimidating it becomes. Fear will always be there. But to succeed in licensing, you must learn to set it aside. This is a numbers game. The more ideas you create and the more companies you approach, the greater your chances of landing a deal. Every pitch is an opportunity, and every rejection is simply part of the process. One of the biggest fears beginners have is that a company might steal their idea. It's a common worry, but in reality, it rarely happens. Companies value their reputations too much to risk being exposed for stealing, especially in today's world where social media can quickly destroy trust. Sometimes, you may see a product on the market that looks like yours. Before assuming theft, remember that ideas often overlap, and accusing a company without proof can damage your own credibility. Protect your reputation, because trust is everything in this business. Another fear is cold calling. Picking up the phone and calling a stranger can feel uncomfortable. But remember, you're not asking for a favor. You're offering them an opportunity. If you've prepared a strong benefit statement and a clear sell sheet, the call doesn't need to last more than a few minutes. Practice your pitch ahead of time and let your enthusiasm shine through. That energy often makes the difference between being ignored and being taken seriously. The most common fear of all is failure. And the truth is, you will fail. not just once, but multiple times. That's normal. Licensing is like fishing. The more lines you cast, the more likely you are to catch something. Don't let failure stop you. Instead, use it as a chance to learn. Whenever your idea gets rejected, ask for feedback. Often, it's not because your idea is bad. It just doesn't fit that company's needs. In fact, the very same idea might be a perfect match for a different company. Stephen recommends practicing cold calls with a script. Write down exactly what you'll say, rehearse it out loud, revise it, and even present it to friends or family. Start your call by introducing yourself. Explain why you're calling, and ask to be connected with the person who reviews new product ideas. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Take Tom's story as an example. When he first started pitching, he was extremely nervous. But after making a few calls, the fear began to fade. Within just 2 weeks, Tom landed his first deal. During that time, he called multiple companies, created a simple YouTube video to demonstrate his product, and refined his script through practice. Eventually, he grew so confident that he no longer needed a script at all. He could pick up the phone and pitch freely. The lesson is simple. You won't know until you try. Companies want new ideas. They need innovation to stay competitive, which means they're eager to hear from you. Yes, you may fail. Yes, you may get rejected. But each attempt builds confidence, sharpens your skills, and brings you one step closer to success. Bring your ideas to market. Bringing an idea to market can feel intimidating, especially when negotiations begin. You might imagine a team of experts sitting across the table from you, ready with all their questions. But here's the truth. You don't have to be a lawyer or a corporate negotiator to succeed. With the right preparation, you can hold your own and secure a deal that truly rewards your creativity. Hiring a lawyer is expensive, but it's still a smart move. The key is knowing when to bring one in. Early on, you can handle the discussions yourself. This saves you money and helps you build a personal relationship with the company, which can often lead to future deals. Once the contract is ready to sign, that's when you call your lawyer to review the details and make sure everything is in your best interest. Negotiating on your own also gives you valuable insight into how the company works. You'll quickly learn who makes the real decisions, what their priorities are, and how they view your idea. This knowledge not only strengthens your case, it makes you part of their team. Speak as though you care about the company's success, because ultimately, you want a win-win deal. Preparation is everything. Before you sit down at the table, research the company inside and out. Learn what products they sell, where they sell them, and what price ranges dominate their market. Read trade magazines, study their website, and even talk to people inside the industry, sales reps, experts, or even employees who are willing to share insights. The more you know, the more confident you'll feel when questions come your way. Money is always the toughest part of any negotiation. Most companies will offer you a royalty of 3 to 5%. That may sound exciting at first, but don't rush to say yes. Stay calm and think long term. A fair deal usually sits in the range of 5 to 7%. Go too low and you'll regret it. Go too high and you risk losing the deal altogether. Strike the balance where both sides feel it's fair. Next, watch out for exclusivity clauses. If a company wants exclusive rights to your idea, make sure you fully understand what that means. Exclusive rights should be clearly defined by both territory and product category. For example, a company may want exclusive rights in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, but not in smaller markets like Japan. That gives you the chance to license the same idea to another company overseas. Product categories are just as important. Imagine Stephen Key creates a label for beverages. If a soda company wants exclusivity, Stephen needs to clarify exactly which drinks are included. If they say soft drinks, water, and juice, then beer is excluded. Later, if they want to use his label on beer, they'll have to pay him more. That's the power of defining your terms. Finally, let's talk about guarantees. Royalties are great, but they don't pay immediately. Sometimes it takes years for a product to hit the shelves. That's why you should also negotiate a minimum guarantee. It's a small payment the company gives you every year, no matter how long production takes. It provides security while you wait for royalties to grow. Your first licensing deal will feel overwhelming. But if you prepare well, do your research, and negotiate with confidence, you'll come out ahead. Once the terms are agreed upon, bring in your lawyer to finalize the details. That way, you protect yourself legally while walking away with a contract that reflects the true value of your idea. Conclusion? Stephen Key built his career around one powerful truth. You don't need to build factories, hire employees, or even show up every day to create wealth. At a young age, he realized the importance of finding work that could generate income without requiring his constant presence. That insight led him to the world of licensing, where creative ideas are rented out to companies that do all the heavy lifting. It became his life's work, and today it can become yours too. In this summary, you've learned the key steps to starting a licensing business from scratch. First, remember that a single idea, no matter how small, has the power to change your life. Licensing is one of the best side businesses for entrepreneurs because it doesn't require huge investments of time, energy, or money. You can pursue it alongside your current job until it grows big enough to stand on its own. Second, never forget the importance of market research. Great ideas don't come from what you like. They come from solving real problems for real customers. Third, test your ideas before you pitch them. Whether through online sales or direct feedback, validation is what transforms a thought into a business opportunity. Fourth, pitching your idea can feel intimidating at first, but with practice, confidence grows. A strong one-line benefit statement and a polished sell sheet are your most important tools. Finally, when it comes to negotiating, knowledge is power. Learn everything you can about the company you're dealing with, prepare for their questions, and make sure the deal reflects the true value of your creativity. And here's the best part. Ideas are everywhere. You don't need to wait for inspiration to strike like lightning. Just walk into a store, watch how people use products, or notice the small frustrations of daily life. Each one of those moments could spark the next million-dollar idea. Creativity is not reserved for a chosen few. It's something we can all practice and develop. So as you step away from this summary, remember, success in licensing doesn't come from building the next perfect product. It comes from thinking differently, spotting opportunities, and having the courage to share your ideas with the world. Start small, keep going, and let one simple idea open the door to a future of freedom, creativity, and possibility. And that wraps up One Simple Idea by Stephen Key. I hope this summary has sparked new ways of thinking about creativity, business, and how one simple idea really can change your life. But don't stop here. On this channel, you'll find over 200-plus audiobook summaries waiting for you, covering the best books on success, wealth, mindset, productivity, and personal growth. Every single one is free for you to learn from anytime, anywhere. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next summary we publish. And if you found one key takeaway from this book, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you'll use it in your own journey. Remember, knowledge is power only when you apply it. So take what you've learned today and start putting it into action. And while you're at it, check out the other summaries here. You never know which book might inspire your next big breakthrough. Thanks for listening. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next summary.